It's a Godwinson. Live. News alert, folks. What a strange series of events that have unfolded since we last did one of these. I had a whole show lined up, a whole agenda prepared for all and sundry to see. We're going to get into that, and then we're mainly going to cover the sniffing that's just taken place. Even I am stunned. You can't write this shit, folks, because it continues, and what we've just witnessed was a complete disaster. Cocaine, it's a hell of a drug, my friends. Right, let's shut that shit off. So, where did we leave off? We left off reacting to PPP's doubling down his absolute defense of Andy Warski. He tied his wagon to that retarded horse. He placed his livelihood in his hands. He ensured that all friends were betrayed so long that as he had his bond, his unreciprocated love with Andy Warski, because it was a business partnership. It was financial security. I promised myself I wasn't going to say I told you so. I promised myself I was going to try and hide the smugness, but I'm afraid, like PPP, my face betrays my true feelings. I am feeling incredibly smug. I am feeling incredibly elated, because this, Ashton, is the face of a winner. Right, so he makes a response to my response, to his response, to my response. And then this is going to be a response to all of those responses. It's going to get very 2007, my friends. His response, he's literally foaming at the mouth last night. Foaming at the mouth. Foaming at the mouth. I'm not exaggerating. For me to cover it would be merely to take away from Surfer's really amazing stream that he did last night, where he examined frame by frame the foam emanating from Ashton's mouth there. But that wasn't all. That wasn't all. Because in the wake of the 6-minute foaming at the mouth stream, where he claimed that he wasn't angry, that there was no points to be addressed, there was nothing to see here, and it is what it is. Move on. In that 6-minute stream, he essentially tied his wagon even further to Warski. The line was drawn, and there wasn't any sense of coming back. There was no sense that there will be a walk back anytime soon. That's why tonight's events have shocked me. He doubled down. On his Twitter, he puts out a post saying that his new British BFF is Millennial Woes, and posts a picture of himself and Warski and some other no-name British celeb, I suppose, all standing together in the wake of this fight that happened in London where Salt Papi really should have broken Andy's jaw. But they're the new lines. Millennial Woes was announced as the guest on Friday, I believe, and Ashton didn't need his old friends anymore because he had, I am trying to keep it together, because he had Andy Warski and Millennial Woes now, the throbbing god rod. Millennial Woes. At that point, I thought, this is absolute nectar. At that point, I thought, flawless victory. Little did I know. Little did I comprehend what would take place next. And what takes place next is a rakeback stream, their Kino Casino bi-weekly show. Nick Fuentes documentary as promised. The eyes rolled even further into the back of my head. it was something that I wasn't even interested in watching. And I don't think the vast majority were. That's why they had sub 1,000 viewers the whole show. Little did we know that Warski would be railing lines of cocaine, quite literally, throughout the stream, to the point where they have to end the stream early. They have to cap it at 2 hours, which, let's be honest, should be a normal length of time for a show. But they had to cut it short. The donos weren't coming in. Warski was a stuttering, incoherent mess, more so than usual. And it was embarrassing. He was literally railing lines of coke live on air. They had one job: put on a show, try and keep it together, and pretend that the Godwinson menace isn't there. One job. One job. Everyone, even the blind, were able to see that Warski was blatantly railing lines of coke live on air last night. It got to the point where Ashton, about half an hour ago, did a stream where he had to publicly address what happened. Now, it's a tricky one, this. But this is going to be a vote. It's going to be a vote, and then we're going to take another vote right at the end, once we've got through the stream that Ashton's just done. I want you to hear out the options before we say the numbers. First option. Do we let him rot? Do we let him lie in the bed that he decided to make? Do we let him share the shallow double grave with Warski that he so wanted this time yesterday? This is how fast events are rolling. Do we let them both lie in the shallow grave, buried alive, like the end of Casino, Joe Pesci? 1. Press 1 if that's what needs to happen. Press 2 if it's time for the long walk back. Press 2 if it's time for a redemption. It's hard to say. A redemption. No, I can't do it. But press 2 if you think it's time for one of those. For our good friend, PPP. I'm not seeing many 2s. Deary me. Right, we're going to get into the stream. It's joyous to me, because what this is vindication, right? You can't call me crazy. You can't say I'm insane. You can't say I have anything but a valid point. If I can do this much damage in less than 1 day, what hope is there for this vast business empire known as the Kino Casino? So we're going to get into the stream that's just taken place. He calls it the Coco It's a No-No. My alarm bells rang, because if this was a public address of Warski railing lines of coke last night live on air, this was a public address, how come it's not happening on the Daka Daka channel with all of the subscribers, where all of the viewership is? If this really is an address to the audience, an apology to the people that give them money, the people that pay them, why aren't they putting it out on their main platform, the main network, as it were? Why is it going out on the social justice PPP that hasn't been used for 3 years apart from last night's videos? Ones and twos, that's what we need to see. Ones and twos, because we're having another vote right at the end. So I'm just going to switch the camera. I'm just going to switch. Aha, fantastic. Okay, so there he is. There he is. It's the public address. Let's go. Can we hear him? I can't hear him. Let's turn him up. Bear with me. Ooh! You know, many would say that it's baffling that it took this long for him to realize. People would say that this is just disingenuous appeal to the audience, appeal to the crowd in an attempt to save his reputation. I'm not saying those words, but I think the face here sort of says it all, doesn't it?
Whiskey's in love with the cocoa! He's in love with the cocoa!
It's a news alert, by the way. It's a news alert. We haven't seen Wolski's cocaine habit documented for the past, 10 years now? We haven't seen him order or attempt to order executions in the street. But apparently it's news now. It's certainly news to him, right? He wasn't told the whole step of the way that this is who Wolski was. No. It's taken till, October? Late October 2022 for the last man on Earth to finally find out who Andy Wolski is. Do we believe? Do we believe?
Tartsky's back on the cocoa. He's blowing it up his nose. Making me look fucked up. Went to bat for the motherfucker. Gave Godwinson a huge dub.
Yes, you did.
Gave Ethan Ralph a huge dub.
Unfortunately, you did.
Wolski's back on the cocoa.
But this isn't new. We knew he was back on the coke when we were warning you away from him. I mean, he was certainly back on the coke in July when he was inviting you over to his house to do coke off the parents' picture frames. It's not news to PPP that Wolski's been on the coke. It ain't news. It ain't a breaking news Godwinson live news alert. But you can't ignore it when he's publicly been railing lines of cocaine on air, on your flagship show. But now we're going to enter this delusional land where we believe in the bumblebees and the black oil virus, and PPP has only just found out who Andy Wolski is. Let's let's go on this magic carpet ride, folks.
Was my co-host.
Was my
Now he's
co-host.
fucked on the cocoa. Paycheck's going up his nose. PPP's fucked, he's gonna be cold.
Winter is coming. It'll soon be cardigan weather, PPP.
Folks, can it really be real?
Yes.
Can this really happen?
How is it shocking that Wolski's just done coke live on air?
Rip like 12 fucking lines?
His name is Andy Wolski, Ashton, your business
The day
partner.
after I fucking put my reputation on the line for him. And said that he was the more reliable, sound business choice over Godwinson.
You knew as you were saying those words that they were completely retarded, and your face at the time betrayed that. You handed me not only a W, but an eternal victory, Ashton. Your words are forever immortalized, licking the taint, 20 hours ago, of Andy Wolski. Saying that he was courageous, he was a king, he was reliable. He was able to turn up to a show consistently and reliably, and you were going to tie your livelihood to Andy Warski. You were going to... you were going to ever deeper encroach yourself with the financial security that came with a partnership of Andy Warski. What a surprise that Warski's a cokehead.
Did that really happen? It can't have happened. Can it? There's no way that just happened to me.
It's the last man on earth to find out who Andy Warski is.
I'm in love with the cocoa. We just can't quit that sweet cocoa powder. It's a mind freak. My co-host is a cokehead and I knew all along and I'm an idiot. The massive L's just are stacking up for PPP. It's over. What am I supposed to do?
Apologize. Apologize not just to me, but everybody else you betrayed with your allegiance with Andy Warski. Apologize. That's the terms of surrender, eh? An apology. It's all we need. Maybe Warski's jaw broken, but an apology would be a good start for the long walk back.
What about, listen, there's no way this is so. Now listen, there's just no way. There's no way Andy actually just ripped like 12 lines of cocaine on the show last night and was so fucked up and incoherent that I had to pull the plug on the show early. That just, there's no way. But, you know, there's a bunch of timestamps in the comments of the fucking video.
Now, I just wanted to jump in here and make a salient point. He knew the whole time who Warski was. This is PPP of the internet. Of course he knew who Warski was. And due to his business partnership and his friendship with Warski, he knows exactly what Warski's been getting up to in his spare time. But this has become a problem that he can't ignore. It's become a problem that everyone saw last night. It was out there in the public square, the public space, as it were. It was something that he can't just sweep it away within it is what it is, within the universe, it is what it is. This was a monument. You can't sweep shit like this up. When your co-host, when your boss, Ashton, is railing lines of coke on air, when he had one job, just to try and keep it together in the wake of the frenzy, the shitstorm that's happened since the Carolean age was hailed, was ushered in. It's not only disingenuous to pretend that Warski's only just now entered Ashton's mind as a cokehead. It's not only disingenuous, but it's lying to the audience. It's lying to them. Are you seriously going to sit there and pretend you didn't know who Warski was and pretend that people weren't telling you the whole way along this is exactly what would happen? Almost to the letter, this is exactly what we told you would happen. You ignored everything, all of the advice, and now it's happened, and this is your face. Let's go.
Finding out times Andy took a fucking rip. But I don't believe it. Andy told me last night, guys, he was drinking boxed wine under the table.
He was just snorting boxed wine, guys.
So fucked up.
And you had
Because he was stressed.
He had, like, no shame or dignity left because he's become a milk-fed gimp to Warski that he didn't question He didn't question that. when you've got... This is incredibly difficult to try and keep it together, but when you've got your co-host, you're under pressure, you need to deliver something, a good show, just keep it together for one night. That's all you have to do, one night. You only deliver a show for 2 nights of the week anyway. Just keep it together for one night. All your co-host had to do was just turn up, not do anything crazy. But when he goes to you and says, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drink a box of wine under the table, you know, as you're talking about Nick Fuentes and Ralph. I'm just going to occasionally do that and then pop up and go, American BGMs, you know, my usual contribution. But I'm just going to be drinking a box of wine under the table. And this guy took it. He took that like a bitch. He just took it like a bitch. Now, it does make me laugh that Worski betrayed, you know, Ashton's, what would you call it, trust? And just completely disregarded the box of wine where you can audibly hear him sniff the Coke 12 times. To be honest, if my co-host had come to me and said, okay, on the show tonight, I'm just going to be doing a box of wine under the table, I'd have said, get the fuck out of here. Goodbye. Get it together.
They were calling him Tardsky. Well, let's have a look, folks. So we got timestamps here. Hour and 15 minutes. So let's have a look at an hour and 15 minutes on the show last night.
Yeah, let's all observe this.
Let's have a look at what happened here.
It's Streamception, fellows. So this is Worski, eh? Let's keep an eye on Worski.
This was an obvious joke, okay? I like that as a joke on my public account because I knew people would see it.
It was just a joke.
BGM. So he's slurring his speech, right?
It's not the first time though either. Like, there's clips out there I played. Like,
Right, there he goes.
Wait.
There he goes.
Oh no.
The first line. The first rail.
Like, Catboy this, Catboy that. Like,
You can hear Ashton in the background trying to deliver the show.
so he appears to be bent over. Looks like he's doing a line.
Looks like
Pops
he's...
back up.
I mean, Ashton, throughout this, you're going to give... or you're going to throw out a few quotes that you could perhaps sweep it up with when you reconcile with Worski. It doesn't look like anything. It is something. It is Worski doing a line of coke on air in 1080p to an audience of sub 1,000 viewers live, whilst you're attempting to say that, I don't know, Nick Fuentes is eating a French fry gay in a gay way.
I understand, Kai. I don't know, guys. Was he drinking boxed wine there?
No.
That's what he's saying to me. That he's filling his wine glass.
It's unbelievable that you took that
Have a look
and
at-
didn't call him out live on air. Because you saw him snorting the lines of coke. And then he's going to type back to you, it's a box of wine, that you didn't have the nerve, like you would have done prior, to call him out live on air and say, bro, you're snorting coke on air as I'm trying to deliver this show. That you took his cope, that you took his explanation, his paltry dog ate my homework lies, that it was a box of wine under the table, and continued to do the show and debase yourself even further? What's going on, bro? What's happening, brother? You were the chosen one. Anakin.